Russia has announced that it will resume long-range bomber patrols over the Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean Sea. The flights were suspended at the end of the Cold War. Russia's defense minister says they are being resumed in light of tensions over Ukraine and what he called anti-Russia mood on the part of NATO. CCTV's Nathan King joins us now from our newsroom. And so, what's going on here, Nathan? Is this a deliberate escalation?
Well, it's definitely a signal, isn't it? First of all, though, it's worth pointing out that all of these flights are legal under international law. They're in Russian or international airspace and are not, unlike many of the US flights, conducted across the world on a daily basis. The difference is, though, they are being stepped up. According to Russia, these long-range flights are a response to NATO's actions on its European borders. Meanwhile, NATO is accusing Russian troops and tanks of illegally entering Ukraine. All this has the former and last leader of Soviet Russia warning of a new Cold War.
The world is on the brink of a new Cold War. Some are even saying that it has already begun.
Under international law, these flights are perfectly legal, as they will be conducted in Russian and international airspace, and they are similar to flights flown by the United States every day. And while Washington has said that publicly, they have also noted the increase and scope of Russian patrols globally. Let's have a look at the map. The proposed Russian flights in the north over the Arctic Ocean would cover its European and Asian borders, while flights in the Gulf of Mexico would bring it close to the United States. And Russia is also increasing its ship presence far from its shores. A fleet of Russian warships is near Australian waters. The timing has raised eyebrows as the G20 summit is about to be held there, and Australia's Prime Minister Tony Abbott has had some strong words confronting Russian President Vladimir Putin about the potential rebel downing of flight MH17 over Ukraine, which killed nearly 300 people, 38 of them Australians. Now the Australians are playing down the Russian presence. Abbott is quoted as saying, "Certainly it's unusual for Russian naval elements to be in Australian waters. Unusual, not entirely unprecedented, but unusual." So the question has to be asked, is this a new Cold War?
It's more or less clear, in my reading at least, that we are swiftly moving to the new Cold War. But there is one important thing here. Russia has no resources Soviet Union had. The opportunities are much more limited. No alliances, no financial force, no even industrial force Soviet Union had. So what Russia has is its nuclear forces.
While Russia may be weaker than it was in Soviet days, it's still one of the most foremost military powers in the world, and standoffs between the West and Russia are increasing. According to a report by a European think tank, it says there have been nearly 40 so-called sensitive close encounter incidents since Russia reabsorbed the Crimea. The US has reported Russian flights near Guam in the Pacific within 50 miles of the California coast. We have even seen a hunt for a Russian submarine just last month off the coast of Sweden, which turned up nothing but led to increased tensions between West and East. And what worries watchers of these military movements is the increased likelihood of mid-air collisions involving passenger jets or rival military aircraft, or even a misunderstanding that leads to an actual military engagement. If tensions are bad now, what would happen if militaries started shooting each other? Elaine?
All right, Nathan King in our Washington newsroom.